YouTube channel. This is Tsering. This happens to be my first video of the year 2024. It has been a while since I had my last video posted. I hope you're all doing great. Um, well, to start with today's topic, as the title itself explains, I am here to share my experience so far having worked as a day and a night shift nurse. So to begin with, back in New York and here in Colorado as well, the nurses do work 12 hours a shift. That would be 3 days a week. And the are only two shifts. That's either the morning shift or the night shift. Whatever shift you choose to work or you have been, provided with, that is kind of like permanent unless you want to switch from night to morning or morning to nights. You do have to have approval from the manager and put on a request. In that way you can definitely get switched to other shift, but with time and the staff availability. In terms of CNA, back in New York, they used to work 8 hours a shift, so we will find three different shifts in a day. That'll be morning, afternoon slash evening, and the night shift. And for them, the shifts are permanent as well. Either you work morning or evening or a night shift. But if you want to swap, definitely you will need to notify and put up a request. Other than that, your shift remains the same. Either you are morning all the time or night all the time for RNs, and for PCA PCT likewise, either you are morning or day, afternoon slash evening, or the night shift. So here in Colorado, the nurses still work 12 hours a shift. It's either the morning or the night, whereas the PCO or PCT, they work 12 hours a shift here, just like the nurses. And their start time is actually an hour ahead of the nurse. They change the shift at 6 a.m., finish at 6 p.m. So the night shifts come at 6 p.m. and then they end at 6 a.m. So the time difference, an hour time difference between the start of the CNA and the nurses shift is because while the nurses are here to take report and doing the change of shift at 7, the CNAs who have come at 6 a.m. or who have come at 6 p.m. are done with their report, and they are on the floor actually to oversee the floor, to attend to the call lights, to ensure whatever is going on, to attend to that needs. So in that way, there is a smooth change of shift of the nurses. So, and I think that is a great idea. Whoever came up with that 1 hour time difference. Um, so to begin with, the positive factors of having worked a day shift is, if you are someone who is, uh, who likes, fast-paced environment, day shift is the right shift because there's so much things happening during their day shift. You also get to know so many different doctors during the day from different, departments. Um, you get to interact with them. You get to go for rounds where you see the case manager, you see the chaplain, you see the doctors, rounding on the patients, learning their plan of care for the day or for the next couple of days. Um, you also have more interaction with the patient's family, their loved ones. So there's a lot of things happening. You get to explore, a lot of new opportunities, the procedures that takes place, the process, and there's a lot of learnings to do. I won't say negative, but it could be to some. Like if you are not someone who is um, if you are not a morning person, then having to start at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. might be uh, quite a task for you. Also, it is that time of the day where people start waking up and then dropping their kids to school or heading out to work. So there might be a little bit more traffic versus during the night shift. Also, for some people, if you are uh, a new person to the profession, and you're not quite ready, uh, it might be quite a day. Even if you're experienced, sometimes you have a very busy day and you get burned out. So because, as I said, so many things happens during the day, and you're constantly busy doing this and that, so you might feel a little burnout as well. So those are some of the positive and negative impact of having work days. In terms of night nurses are also called the owls because we are basically awake during the nights. They're also called graveyard shift because that's when everybody's sleeping, and then we are actually there to work and meet the patient's needs. So the positive factors, the pros of working as a night shift could be, if you're someone that you don't want to, interact much with, especially, not the patient, but the patient's family members or the doctors, or, because in the nighttime you don't see many doctors, you don't see much surroundings at all. So you don't have that much interaction, whether it's with the doctors or the family members of the patient. um, so there's less room for distraction as well, I would say, and it gives us more opportunity to actually focus on the patient. There, read through the notes of the doctors or other healthcare professionals who are involved in the patient care. In that way, we learn a lot of things, just reading through the charts, and what the plan of care would be or seem to be like. During the night shift, also there seem to be more like teamwork because we don't have much resources during the night, and then whoever works there tends to work as a team. I do see teamwork in the morning too, but I feel like there's more during the nighttime since we don't have much resources, and then we lean on each other's help and guidance, and that it actually helps us bond much as well, more as well. um and the commute seems to be a little lighter during the nights because by the time we leave house to report to the to work at 6 p.m. for the CNAs or 7 p.m. for the nurses, there are already less traffic on the road, and that is why. um so the other positive factor is that the night differential. So if you are someone who would like more like income, there is a night differential. Right, currently I do get like $5 an hour as a night differential. It can differ from one facility to another, from one person to another, depending on whatever calculation the facility bases on. So $5 an hour into times 11, then it does make some differences if and to contributing financially. So I would say these are the some of the positive factors, and the negative could be that because now your sleeping pattern is altered, you might some of us, might have um, sleeping issues. I have seen some nurses or some PCAs, having to take like sleeping pill just to start with like melatonin to help them aid in sleeping so that they can have function normally the next day. So and then all this, having to wake up during the night hours, all 12 hours, you are more prone to drinking like frequent coffees or to eating more, which could contribute, over the long run to some physical health issues. So that is another risk factor as well. Some facilities, uh, tend to have more ratios, nurse and patient ratio during the nights versus the day. For say, if the days, usually have like 1:5, one nurse is for 5 patients. The night seems to have like 1:6 patients, just because, again, during the nighttime, they assume that not much happens during the night. Uh, there are some busy nights during the nighttime as well, and the lack of resources and everything makes it a little harder. However, just because many things happens during the day, uh, so that is why the ratio at some facility does vary. even during the day and the night shift. In some facilities, they have started to, rate the patient's acuity status, so in that case, if the acuity is high, you might not end up even with six patients. You might even end up with just four patients based on how difficult the patient is. Not the patient itself, but the patient's status. If they're bed bound and need frequent repositionings, or they are on tube feeds, so all that stuff. So the ratios might change. So these are the first some of the negative impact of a night shift nurse. So there might be more factors if you want to contribute, and you can just type your comments on the video below. But this is so far what I have gone through or have seen or experienced. Now, talking about the power nap during the night shift, I remember we used to have an hour break during the night or during the day as well. So back in New York, but here we do have like breaks in our an hour break, so it'll be like 15, 15, and then half. Um, I and many of my colleagues don't really go to like take breaks. You just rest at your desk. But what I have recently been doing, and is I think it's very important to do, is take a power nap. I eat during my short break, and then during that half an hour break, I have seen many Oasis room in different facilities here in Colorado. I know there are, rooms to rest for the healthcare professionals in my workplace back in New York as well. So taking that half an hour break, you feel like half an hour is going to go very quickly, and you won't be able to sleep. But I think that's just something that we keep in our head. Once you rest, for me personally, it's around 4 o'clock in the morning that I start dozing. So at that time, I usually take my break around 4 o'clock, go there, and then sleep for, or just nap for half an hour. And when you wake up from that nap, the energy level, the attention level is much better, versus having to doze off through the shift. So make sure and try to take your naps during your that half an hour break or 1 hour break, because that really makes a difference. And especially like here in Colorado, where you have to drive from work to home, or work to different places wherever you're going. Um, it does affect your body, especially when you are not you when you're so tired on the 12-hour shift, whether it's work related, or you just being your body just being awake all night. um, I have noticed a difference. When I take a nap, I'm much more alert. I don't doze off while driving. Whereas if I'm very tired on that shift, because I was busy, or just my body being awake for 12 hours, I do sometimes doze while driving, and that is a big no, because so many accidents actually happen, due to many reasons, including not having a proper rest. So my friends and I do joke about how we have to pull the windows down, and then try to slap ourselves to keep ourselves awake, or pour some water or on some loud music in the car. So there are different ways to keep yourself from not dozing off. But I think one of the most important that would benefit is also napping during your break time. So for all those night shifters, try that and then see if that makes any changes. Um, this is all for today's topic, and I hope that my whatever I've shared here would help, to those who watch us through. And feel free to leave comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next in my next video. Bye bye. Take care.